All right, guys, we are live. It's Monday, the 15th of January, and I got some songs for you that I wrote. There's mayonnaise on the side, the cheeseburger song.
Ready to go. Ready to go. Cheeseburger. Delicious. Cheeseburger. That's what we like to do. Is eat cheeseburger. But we don't know who the fuck we're even singing to. So you don't get no goddamn motherfucking cheeseburger. We don't care about you enough to play a tune. So that's how it's gonna go down today. But we gonna eat motherfucking cheeseburgers and shit, cause that's how the motherfucker we get down. Because we love it, we like it a lot. If and everything else, maybe some pop, because niggas like to smoke some weed. Business, everything else, except what we do for real. So, but in the meantime, we don't mind to spin here and make some beats and make them run. So, hell, if I can figure out how we're gonna get cheeseburgers all up in the house. Not even a thing. We do all these things. Yeah, we do all these. Yeah, which is generally pretty that's not true. So, the business. We're down with our business. It's called Waiting on Cheeseburger Time. Waiting on cheeseburgers. Waiting on cheeseburger time. Before you're listening.
Let me go. All right, we're gonna cheeseburger in. We gonna eat all the cheeseburgers we get. We ain't gonna stop until we fill our fries. Some ketchup and some mayonnaise on the side of my fries.
This European style.
I wanna put mayonnaise on the side, the side of my fries. I wanna keep the mayonnaise on the side of my fries. That's the only way the mayonnaise survives. On the side of my fries. That's where the mayonnaise is gonna reside. Here we go. We here in the basement, eating all the hamburgers that we can get. And we put on the 1,000 out. And we put some onions, make us all smile. We got French fries straight from the grease. They're the best French fries that you could eat. We got ketchup for them motherfuckers. We even got a little mayonnaise on the side of my fry. That's where the fuck the mayonnaise resides. I put it on the side of my fry. That's the fucking place where the mayonnaise dies. Here we go, Paige.
There's no all the girls out there, they definitely want mayonnaise on something. Whatever that reference refers to is like very mysterious.
What's going on? We got a great show for you. Got a great show for you. What's going on? It's me, SpaysE McG, your favorite cartoon nerd with the news, and I'm back at it again. Doing what I do, how I do it, when I do it. You know what the fuck we're doing and why we're doing it. All right. Now, I got a great show for you. We're going to be looking at some things. What do we got? We got World War III. It's all crazy. Trump Trump wins the Iowa caucus. We're going to be watching that to see, how badass he wins. How much he fucks shit up. Right? And what else do we got? We're going to be looking at Iran's nuclear program and other fucking crazy bullshit going on in the East. We have Putin is going to invade NATO. Yeah, the German newspapers, they've got it all figured out. We're going to be laughing and mocking Joe Biden's EV fucking debacle. That's going to be fun. What else do we got? We got, and Kensington, where I grew up, is really gross now and disgusting. We got a guy who made a pretty good video showing how disgusting and gross Kensington is, right? And so we're going to look at that. All right, now we got a nice little crowd starting to form out there. We got Jets, mess. Jets, you fucking badass. What are you doing, brother? We got Fox Rider. We got turning motherfucking guns. We got Island Boy. Yeah. So great. So we're going to have a great show. And what's going on? I'm glad everybody made it. Now, shit. God damn it. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start looking at, not that. We're going to look at here. We're going to start by looking at Iowa. We're going to see what's going on there. Let's see here. Yeah, great. Everything's good now. We are live, folks. All right. Now, so, as we can see here, I don't know actually if you can see it. Let's go ahead and go into full screen mode. Oh, I need that. And then we got to do that. And then we got to say that. And then that happens. Whoa, that's too big. That looks good. There. We are live. Let's see. Yeah, so as we can see, Donald Trump is kicking all their asses, right? In the big upset of the night, it looks like Ron DeSantis. He may not win any counties, but as far as the popular vote goes, it looks like Ron DeSantis is going to be the upset of the night. Vivek Ramaswamy, Vivek rhymes with cake. His shit don't break, and he's like out to make his name for himself. Yeah, and Vivek Ramaswamy is there at 7.1%, about where we thought he'd be. But the big upset of the night, Ron DeSantis is looks like he's going to get what they thought Nikki Haley was going to get. Now, some things to point out is that Haley, right? Haley is doing good in these counties, I believe, where there are more people, right? Like these counties where Trump has won already, right? There's only 50 votes there, right? That have been counted, right? With 3% of the votes in. But these counties that they're calling overwhelmingly for Donald Trump, right? Right, they're smaller counties, right? And as we can see, and there's only about, I would say, maybe about 12, we're not going to count them, 12 counties even reporting here, 15 counties, something like that. So what we can see here is that Trump has got a commanding lead, even over his next competitor, Ron DeSantis, with more than, I would say, right around 55%, it looks to be, of the votes. So he's trouncing them, right? He's trouncing them. And that's a good thing, right? What do you guys think about that? It's a very close second and third, yes. Jewish space tunnels. No, Jewish space lasers, right? Right? Oh, I had some interesting laser news, but I just, getting everything sometimes takes a while. I've been kind of reading the stories a little bit. Right. So I didn't have only but about an hour and a little bit to get prepared for tonight. Like, I've been preparing all day, but Like real, like just making sure I had all my stories, and that's one of the ones I forgot. We'll look at that tomorrow, right? Lasers. There's more lasers. Orange Man is bad, indeed. That's why we're going to be looking at some Trump derangement system, right? Jets, so this goes to you, buddy. Here's Whoopi Goldberg telling us Trump is going to put everybody, he's going to jail gays and be a dictator, guys. Orange Man bad, ass.
On day one, I'm going to be a dictator. Who says it to you, tells you, I'm going to put you people away. I'm going to take all the journalists, I'm going to take all the gay folks, I'm going to move you all around and disappear you. If that's the
They're going to disappear. I'm going to disappear all the gays and all the journalists. We're going to put them all in camps, guys. Yeah, because the Trump derangement syndrome is strong in this one. Right. Oh, I think we all agree. Now, we got one more. Just of that sweet, sweet Trump derangement. Let's get a little bit of that.
How is Trump racist?
Do you want to answer this for me?
Nope, this is for you. You made the claim. Back it up. How is he a racist?
He has had multiple people be killed.
He has had people be killed.
Ma'am, I live in a town where there was riots.
He's the world's biggest
Very
racist.
good. I'm glad that that's where you come from. However, who has he had killed?
He's caused his police to do it. He has militiaized this country.
He has militiaized this country.
He's militiaized it. We've all been militiaized. Every one of us.
I can't speak English because I suck at it, but ma'am.
Don't assume my gender.
What are your pronouns then?
They and Z and princess.
Princess?
How is he a racist?
I'm not going to answer you.
Why? Because you can't or because you won't?
No, because I'm pissed at you and you should leave our campus.
Oh, no. This is a free country, right? Whose streets? My streets. Today.
Yes, this is a private campus.
No, it's not. It is a public university.
Yeah,
I just want to know
right?
how Donald Trump is racist.
Because he has had his militia, our military, be used to protect buildings against people who have been killed multiple times.
The Trump derangement is real, guys, right? And so is war. Houthis, undeterred by strikes, target more ships in the Red Sea, right? Iranian-backed Houthi militias in Yemen have launched a fresh round of attacks in shipping lanes critical for global trade, damaging a U.S.-owned commercial ship on Monday after attempting to hit an American warship the day before. The strikes came just days after the U.S. and Britain militaries unleashed a powerful barrage on militant sites in Yemen, and the Houthis' response made clear how difficult it might prove to remove the threat posed to shipping in and around the Red Sea. U.S. forces are bracing for a much larger retaliatory attack from the Houthis, who began targeting ships after the war in Gaza began and are preparing escalating responses, senior U.S. military officials have said. After the United States and Britain hit more than 60 Houthi targets last week with more than 150 precision-guided munitions, U.S. officials said the militants still retained about three-quarters of their ability to fire missiles and drones at ships transiting the Red Sea. Many of their weapons systems are on mobile platforms and can be easily or readily moved or hidden, the officials say. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak of Britain, that name's a mouthful, nevertheless said on Monday that the airstrikes had achieved their objectives and shown that Britain was prepared to back our words with actions. Speaking in Parliament, I saw this actually this morning. I got to give it up for Mr. Sunak. He seems to be a very distinguished, effeminate British person, right? So, and Great Britain, that's like manly or something. Orange is my favorite color. They say that girl pooped herself. Yeah, I heard that. I don't necessarily like that girl. I can't even remember her name. I think she's a poser. Now, Britain's Defense Secretary, Grant Shapps, told Sky News, "We never thought that this would remove all of their facilities." Yeah, well, it hasn't, right? And so what we learned, just like what we learned here, the Houthi military itself is not as, let's say, centralized as the United States military is. And what do I mean by that? I mean that they have, like, these roaming, like, basically squads, right? And they're more independent and more, like, on their feet than a U.S. force would be. Like, we would be stationary, like, in a region or whatever. These guys will set up and they'll shoot at boats, or they'll do their piracy on the high seas, and then they'll move to a different location, right? And that's the problem that we're having here, right? Now, like I said, the Houthis have attacked U.S.-owned ships, right? They've missiled our ships. Now, if you guys remember last night, we were talking about the 2 Navy SEALs that went missing. God damn it, I didn't even get that. Let's pull that up, actually. Let's go ahead and pull that up or something. Oh, no, what is this going to be? Okay, so here's what we want to pull up. We want breaking points. Right, and here's what we're going to do. Because Crystal, right, and I don't know if you guys watch this channel or not, but it's likely, here, let's just let them tell the whole story. We're just going to watch them for a second. Hold on, I have it set too high. It's just spinning. That's not good. Is my shit lagging? Kind of. I have a low stream rate. I imagine it's lagging ever so slightly. What is going on here?
What happens, the Houthis have a choice to make here now, Margaret. And the right choice is to stop these reckless attacks. And no matter what they say,
here, hold on.
This
Let's
is
back
not
up a little bit.
Punishing Israel. I mean, one of the ships they took a...
It might take a second. Yeah, so here we go.
They're
saying
the
the same thing I said. Let's hear it.
And try to intercept weapons that they believed were going from Iran to Yemen. That piece has now been confirmed that that's the mission that they were on.
So the Navy SEALs were on a mission to intercept Iranian weapons in the Gulf of Aden off the coast of Somalia, okay?
Here is John Kirby getting asked about this. Let's take a listen.
We received that report about
Here's
2 Navy
Rear Admiral
SEALs
Kirby.
missing off the coast of Somalia. They were attempting to board a small ship believed to be carrying weapons from Iran to Yemen. What is the status?
As far as we know, that search is still ongoing for those 2 sailors.
Yeah, the search is ongoing for the first U.S. soldiers killed in the war, in World War III.
Are in the water.
We're about to find out.
And we
This
hope
shit
to
is
get
going
some
nuts.
updated information today. But we're obviously watching this very closely.
But this is directly related to what is going on.
This was not related to the strikes in Yemen. This was normal interdiction operations that we've been conducting for some time to try to disrupt that flow of weapon supplies to Yemen. So it's not related to the strikes that we took against the Houthis.
But still, in this region, the Houthis, as you just mentioned there, say the motivation here is they're trying to get back at Israel's allies. That's a justification they're using for attacking some of these ships. Does the U.S.
Yeah, so in woke liberal retard terms, right, what she's trying to say is the Houthis aren't bad guys because they're killing Jews. They want to kill Jews, right? And as we all know, Jews are the worst kinds of white people, right?
assess that these
that's how
coalition
they think of
strikes
the world.
will deter the Houthis, or are you bracing for retaliation and an open-ended conflict?
I think it'd be Pollyannish for us to think that there couldn't or may not be.
I like how he uses the term Pollyannish, right? Right? That's like, where your dreams are bigger than your means. Pollyanna, right? That's actually sad. Doesn't she die at the end? I think Pollyanna dies at the end, if I'm right.
be some sort of retaliatory strike by the Houthis. We're watching this very, very closely. We've taken the requisite,
I don't believe a word Kirby
necessary.
says. That's because you're not retarded. That's because you can think with your brain, turning guns.
Precautions in the region to make sure we're ready for that if that should occur. These strikes were meant to disrupt and degrade their ability to conduct these strikes. And so we think that we had good effect on that. We're still assessing the battle damage assessment of those strikes, but we think we had good effect.
We're assessing the assessment, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. We have top men assessing the assessment.
We'll see what happens. The Houthis have a choice to make here now, Margaret. And the right choice is to stop these reckless attacks. And no matter what they say, this is not about punishing Israel. I mean, one of the ships they took a shot at yesterday was Panamanian flagged and it was taking Russian oil.
Hey, thank you, R&R Steve. R&R Steve likes my song that I wrote, guys. So I just had to say thank you to you, R&R Steve. You're a badass motherfucker.
So it may be an open-ended conflict. We don't know if deterrence has been established.
Nobody wants a conflict with the Houthis. We're not looking for a conflict with Yemen here. We're trying to get these attacks to stop.
Guys, we're not looking for a conflict with Yemen. Please stop shooting our soldiers and hitting us with bombs and attacking our ships and all these things. Now, here is where Crystal's just going to straight up say, right, that she doesn't believe it. She thinks they were killed in the line of action, that they're not telling us that, and they're doing it to prevent a World War III, which is pretty much what we said last night.
You can see there, he tries to distance the mission that these Navy SEALs were on from our strikes on Yemen and on the Houthis. But these are very clearly linked, Sagar.
It's total BS. I'm actually really upset about it because it's obvious. Look, you cannot tell me that these are normal operations. We don't normally have U.S. Navy SEALs who are bound, like boarding ships openly in the middle of Somalia with weapons bound for Yemen. This is obviously a new policy that was put into place as part of this so-called coalition where we're trying to stop the weapon shipments from Iran to the Houthis to prevent attacks in the Red Sea. For some reason, this responsibility has wholly come upon the United States, even though this is supposedly a conflict that involves Israel. Okay, so now we're involved in it. And now, I mean, look, I hate to say it, these two Navy SEALs are lost at sea now for days in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. That is horrible. I mean, I hope to God that they are found alive. Imagine being the family members of two of these guys, and listen, they certainly, like, in terms of the mission and all of that, it's one of those where we have to think about what was the strategy? What were we actually doing here? This was involved to try and prevent weapons flows from Iran to the Houthis, which are attacking ships. But the thing is that all of that for the center of gravity is Israel and is Gaza. Mm-hmm. And, that's why you put it correctly. It appears that these are going to be the first direct, look, I don't want to say casualty yet, the first at least like directly affected American soldiers, or American service members, other than the ones who've already been attacked in Iraq and in Syria, who were directly involved in a combat operation or some sort of operation that was directly involved in the conflict here, which this is really tragic. I mean, these guys, it's like, what a horrible, horrible situation for their command, for the people who were involved, for their teammates, and for their families, and everyone else involved. And we just have to think about, like, what is actually going on here, and what were these guys doing? And the truth is that this was all because the Houthis are attacking ships, which they say is because of the situation in Israel and in Gaza. And I got no love for the Houthis, and I got no love for anybody, who's attacking ships or anything other than that. If I thought that we could solve this problem by bombing, I'd be like, listen, 100%. The issue is that, as I said from day one, the Saudis bombed these people Kingdom Come for 9 straight years. And lo and behold, in the so-called battle damage assessment, which I know we're about to get into, Crystal, they say they only destroyed 10 to 20% of their offensive capability, and that over 80% remains not only capable, but way harder to destroy because it's all mobilely launched, which means that we could be in a way worse situation. I mean, just today, the news broke that that there was the U.S. had shot down a Houthi missile aimed at a U.S. Navy ship.
And then after that, the Houthis actually hit an American transport ship that was going through the Gulf. So, American assets have been targeted and have been damaged at the very least. American Special Forces, Navy Special Forces SEALs have been murdered, right? And here we go. Let's hear what Crystal's take is very good.
Today, this happened. And not, in this case, listen, shooting in a Panamanian tanker, carrying Russian oil, whatever, all right? Like, that's way less of our responsibility. This is at the USS Laboon, which is a U.S. destroyer, 4:45 p.m. Yemen time. Anti-ship cruise missile. These things are no joke. Luckily, we have good defense. But what if it doesn't?
Yeah, lasers.
You know, it only takes one, and then we're in a whole other different situation.
Lasers.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about. That's what I worry about the most with this.
Well, and let's just put some more details up on the screen that we know here. This is from the Washington Post, everything we know about what happened with these Navy SEALs. And keep in mind, this is the official story.
Yeah,
right. See, like I told you guys last night, we didn't know this, but I had a sneaking suspicion that they were fucking doing some kind of military procedure and were shot, right? And that the government's lying to us about it.
What happened here? Who really knows? Okay, Navy SEAls lost at sea. We're searching for Yemen-bound weapons shipments, so we have confirmation of what was being said there.
Remember,
it went awry near Somalia last week. They were dispatched to look for suspected Iranian weapons bound for militants in Yemen, which has become a staging ground for repeated attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea. The two service members who went missing were preparing to board the ship in rough seas when one of them slipped from a ladder. The second sailor, seeing their comrade fall into the water, dove in to help. The official said on the condition of anonymity to describe early assessments. This occurred Thursday in the Gulf of Aden. They've been missing since Thursday,
guys.
Dead, not immediately clear whether other military personnel successfully boarded the ship, or if so, whether any Iranian-made weapons were located. Again, I say this is the official story, is that they fell into the water. It is very possible that that is not actually what happened, but both the attempt to distance this action from the strikes, the bombings of the Houthis in Yemen, and also potentially, you know, I don't know what actually happened here, but if they are lying and they were actually killed by Iranians and they're saying they fell into the water to avoid escalation, I support that lie. I'm just going to go.
See, and that's how these people are, right? That's how these progressives are. Now, Crystal's not the worst one. She can be very reasonable. I wouldn't even call her a progressive, but that's how these Democrats are, right? They're happy to believe the lie. They want to believe the lie. And that's what separates us from them, right? We can't accept the lie, right? Right, guys? Now, but there's a reason why we don't want to escalate with Iran, and that's quite clear. Iran is closer than ever to a nuclear weapon as Biden runs out of options, right? Long-running tensions over Iran's nuclear capabilities may have reached a point of no return. This week, thrusting the Middle East into uncharted waters. Tehran has ramped up uranium enrichment at a pace not seen since 2015, signaling signing of a landmark deal which saw Iran curb uranium enrichment in exchange for sanctions relief before former United States President Donald Trump withdrew from the agreement in 2018. Analysts believe Tehran may have already attained the material needed to manufacture a nuclear weapon. On Thursday, Iran switched off surveillance cameras used by the international nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, to monitor activity at the country's key nuclear facilities. So we had people monitoring the Iranian nuclear weapon production or nuclear enrichment, right? So what is going on? All right, in order to make a nuclear bomb, right, you need to have uranium, which is like 90% or better, really like 95%, really, to do it right, of primarily uranium-235. I think it's 235. One is good and one is bad. Most of it is 238, I believe. And 235, whichever one it is, I believe it's 235, needs to be refined, right? And it takes about 10 tons of 238 to produce 1 kilo, roughly, something like that, on that magnitude, on that order, 1 kilo of uranium-235, right? And Iranians had, so what do you do? How do you do this, right? So it's an iterative process, which means you start with regular uranium, which is like less than 1% of this good stuff, right? And you like refine it, right? You try to separate the good stuff from the bad stuff, and you get some that's slightly better, right? And you keep doing that, and you keep doing that. And once it gets to about 15%, that's like nuclear reactor grade, right? That's like the kind of uranium that you can run a nuclear power plant with, right? But once you get it above 85, 90%, right? Now you're in the small yield nuke range, like very small yield, like about Hiroshima size, right? So maybe even not even that. But once you get above 95%, that's where you get into the high low yield, which is like 100 kilotons, like 10 Hiroshimas, right? Like 5 Nagasaki's, right? So, and once you get that, like to do better than that, you need to make you need plutonium. "30 years ago, it was rock and roll. Now it's rest and relax." Ha 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 ha. Ain't that the truth, guys? All right. Yeah, so what they're saying, and I don't know if it says it in this article, but I've heard other news outlets report that Iran is at a level where they can make 10 of these, or 6, I'm sorry, of these low-yield nukes within a month, right? Like they have the capability to make 6 of these low-yield nukes within a month, right? And that's where we're at with that. But also today, all these things happened today. All of this happened today, guys. North Korea says it tested a solid fuel missile tipped with a hypersonic weapon. And that's just days, right, after the Chinese have tested a solid fueled missile with hypersonic capabilities, right? What's up, Eli? I'm glad you made it. Hey, I had spaghetti tonight too. Eli, I also had spaghetti. Right? So North Korea said Monday that it flight tested a new solid fuel intermediate range missile, like less than 1,000 miles. It's not intercontinental, right? It's like probably 600 or 800 miles or something like that. Tipped with a hypersonic warhead as it pursues more powerful, harder to detect weapons designed to strike U.S. targets in the region. The report by North Korean state media came a day after the South Korean and Japanese militaries detected the launch from a site near the North Korean capital of Pyongyang in what was the North's first ballistic test of 2024. The launch came 2 months after North Korea said it successfully tested engines for a new solid-fueled, intermediate-range ballistic missile, which reflected a push to advance its lineup of weapons. Right? So, they have hypersonic capabilities. They have solid fuel rockets, right? Which just means that all that really means is that they're much easier to launch, right? They're much easier to refuel, to launch, right? Because the rocket fuel that they use is like explosive, right? Like missiles and rockets are just, dangerous. You can't like store them and the fuel and all that shit around, right? Like that this is what we do. Was there a meeting where we all decided to confuse the shit out of you? No, I'm not trying to confuse you. Yeah, well, I didn't have spaghetti. We had panini. All right, now, guys. Russia is getting ready to attack NATO. This is 5 hours ago. See, this is all today. All this is happening today. Russia is preparing to launch a hybrid war against NATO countries as soon as this February of 2024. Germans Bild reported. Now, I looked it up. And Bild, right? Bild is the most popular newspaper in Europe, right? Bild is a German. It's like the New York Times of Europe. Okay? The attack will come on NATO's eastern flank, according to the document that outlines a month-by-month scenario leading to a major armed conflict in Europe and the possible start of World War III in 2025. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov offered no comment on the Bild report when asked by journalists. I would not comment on this Bild report, Peskov said. Recently, this newspaper has regularly stooped to publishing various fake news items and canards. Russia is expected to start a major mobilization in February to increase the size of its army. So far, apart from a partial mobilization that started on September 21st, the Kremlin has avoided a politically... Let's just skip over that, okay? Now, let's just get to the good stuff. Somewhere there's like a map and shit. There it is. All right. So first, here's what we're talking about. All right. So here's a map that they published. Let's kind of make this bigger a little bit. A little bit bigger. All right. So there's this little part of Russia right here called Kaliningrad, right? And Kaliningrad is surrounded by Lithuania, Poland, right? Sweden is right there. I believe this is Finland. I don't know. I think that's Finland. This is all in German. I think we have Finland, Lithuania. Oh, no. Estonia, Finland, Lithuania, Poland, right? And here's this Russian, like, territory of Kaliningrad, right? And so what they're saying that the Russians are going to do is move their forces, right, up through this area and take all this land between here and here, right? So that way they have a secure route to the sea, which is right here. I believe this is the, I don't know what sea it is. I don't know. Hey, what's up, SD? Now, they have a lot of good points, right? Somewhere in here they have a timeline. Okay, here's the timeline. Okay. So here's how they're saying it's going to go down. In February of 2024, Russia will initiate another mobilization wave, conscripting an additional 200,000 soldiers. By spring of 2024, strengthened by wavering Western support towards Kiev, the Kremlin launches a successful spring offensive in Ukraine, pushing the Ukrainian army back. By July of 2024, a covert, later overt Russia attack on the West begins. In July, guys. So in July, Russia will be moving into Poland, right? A covert, or later overt Russian attack on the West begins, featuring cyber attacks and hybrid warfare, primarily in the Baltics, right? And then, in October, Russia will move troops and missiles to Kaliningrad
escalating tensions, right? And by December of 2024, border conflicts and unrest with numerous casualties in the Suwalki corridor. That's this part of the map right here, guys. The Suwalki corridor is this right here, right? Now, where border conflicts and unrest with numerous casualties in the Suwalki corridor along the Polish-Lithuanian border, right? And then post-U.S. elections, Russia repeats its 2014 invasion of Ukraine on NATO territory, possibly with the Belarusian support. The Defense Alliance 2023 scenario, as reported by Bild, avoids specific details about the number and movements of NATO troops, but anticipates the deployment of hundreds of thousands of NATO soldiers in the summer of 2025 before a direct clash with Russian and NATO forces. The document highlights a peak in tensions in October when Russia is expected to move troops and missiles to the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad that is surrounded by Poland. By January of 2025, a special NATO council meeting would report an increasing threat from Russia, right? Is Europe ready? The attack on NATO members is timed to follow the U.S. presidential elections slated for November. During the uncertainties of leadership, what the fuck is this? Of leadership transition that would increase U.S. vulnerability. So what they're saying is that Russia is going to exploit the already guaranteed turmoil that's going to happen after Donald Trump wins the election. And speaking of Donald Trump, right? Yeah, Trump's killing it. Trump's killing it in Iowa with 38% of the votes in. Trump's ahead 52-20 with Ron DeSantis in second place. Nikki Haley falls all the way down to 18.7%. Right now, if you remember, Nikki Haley was supposed to get 25% of the electorate, and she's only getting 18%. Now we're having these more rural counties, right? Right? Haley, no one has won a single county yet, right? Besides Donald Trump. There's one weird county that looks like it's going to go to Haley, but all the rest of them have been won or will be won by Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump has already been declared the winner. At 8:31 p.m., the AP called the race for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has already been declared the winner. Apparently they all suck, Leviathan, because Trump is killing it, right? Trump. He's got 3 times. He's damn near got 3 times the votes that Ron DeSantis has. He's got like 2.7 times the votes, something like that. Damn right. Hey, what's up, Gino, baby? I'm glad you made it. Yeah, it's a landslide for Trump, right? It's absolutely a landslide. Speaking of landslides, looks like Europe's going to be a landslide, right? Because Switzerland is preparing for nuclear escalation, guys. Right. We're not going to read it. I'm just telling you that Switzerland also expects that Russia will invade Poland and Lithuania and probably Switzerland too. So they're ready, right? They expect nuclear. I actually did read this article. They expect Russia to move nuclear weapons into Poland and Lithuania and then point them at Switzerland. Yeah, I did see the video of the guy that gave Ron a participation trophy, right? And even Xi Jinping is gearing up for war, guys, right? 10 hours ago. He's taking over the military. So Xi Jinping is in a struggle with China's military, purging senior commanders to reshape it. He wants generals ready and willing to go to war, analysts told Business Insider. A Chinese invasion somewhere like Taiwan could drag the U.S. into a third world war, right? So everyone is gearing up. It looks like 2025 will be the start of the phony war. Like if we're going to use World War II as an example, right? And World War I. No, yeah, even World War I, right? Like World War I starts in like 1913, but things don't get bloody until like 1915, right? 16, right? World War II starts in 1939, but shit doesn't get bloody until like 1942, right? And the beginning of World War II, they had a period that lasted about 8 months called the phony war, right? And that's the period of time after Hitler takes Poland, right? Hitler and Russia take Poland. They move into no, they don't go, haven't moved into France yet. So it's that winter of 1939 into 1940, right? That's like into the spring of 1940 when Hitler moves into France, right? Right. And that's called the phony war. And that period, it looks like, will start in 2025 for us, right? You can't believe a man can be the president twice after he lost? Yeah, that's because he didn't lose. First of all, he didn't lose, right? He didn't lose, right? So, yeah, that's why, right? We all know that was a shady election. There was mail-in voter fraud, right? There was media and big tech companies manipulating. We saw them kick poll watchers out of all of the counting places in counties that were supposed to go to Trump but didn't, right? We saw hard drives full of votes come in at 4 a.m. in Wisconsin that had the magical 150,000 votes that they needed to put Trump out, right? We all saw that, right? I had all those videos on my channel. We saw the people down in Fulton, Georgia, Fulton County. It's lagging terribly. Yeah, my flat earth videos are hilarious. You should watch them. You guys should watch the Devil's Advocate videos too.
We in Kensington, Philadelphia.
I think the quality here is just too high. The quality is too damn high on this video for my shitty internet connection. We're going to have to take it down. That should make it better. All right, there we go. Yeah, I have lots of good videos. I used to make I used to make actual cartoons, like, by hand. So that's how I learned how to do all this. All right, we're going to watch.
Yeah, my name is Ra. We in Kensington, Philadelphia. North Philadelphia, to be exact, somewhat.
Yeah,
It's
North
known for a lot
Filthy,
of
that's
drug
what we
use,
call it. If you're
crime,
from
drug
there, you call it
use,
the Filthy.
prostitution.
What are the most popular drugs here right now?
The trank, the dope, and the
We're going to
fentanyl.
ride with the trank and the dope,
Doing
guys.
them dirty, like bad. Like my mother was from down here. My mother used to do every drug in this book. Glad to say she's clean off of everything. But me, when I was a child, my mother was down here doing dope. She did not look like this. She had a couple track marks, she had a couple little sores and everything, but her limbs wasn't falling off. It's real bad. Like you can smell them when they walk past. Like,
Do you guys believe addiction is a disease?
yes, it is.
Some people want to get off drugs, but they so deep into it, they can't. No matter how hard they try, they've been doing it for so long, it becomes a part of them.
What do you think is the solution for someone who's that far in the lifestyle of drug addiction?
Well, my honest opinion, I don't think there's no solution. Then they're gonna do it till they die.
There's a fight right behind us. All right, that's it. You got him. That's it. That's it.
Just another day in Kenzo, baby.
You can't steal. You can't steal. Da bing. No more. Get up. Go.
This is a typical day in Kensington, a neighborhood in Philadelphia. 400 to 800 people are on the streets here looking for their next high.
What's your name?
Bud.
How long you been out here?
Almost 4 years. I think it's crazy. For real.
When do you think you first started doing drugs?
I tried drugs when I was 18. I used heroin until I was 22. So in that period of time, you can kind of see when the writing's on the wall. You know, it's a spiral downward, and eventually it takes you to somewhere like this. Honestly, if I'm being truthful, I'm probably going to have to get arrested to stop. But when I do get arrested, it's at that point, you know, I'd like to move forward into sobriety.
It's about to get very gross.
I've had 5 years clean, 2 years clean.
So things are about to get very gross.
Clean.
So if you can't take it, look away.
Hi, Mom. I'm okay. Love you.
And if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God has raised you from the dead, you'll be saved. We are all the same. We have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And like I said before, at the foot of the cross, there's no racism. There's no gender. There's no
gender?
There is no, let me repeat that. There is gender, but there is no difference in salvation with respect to gender. If you're a man, you get saved. If you're a woman, you get saved.
It's like, let me explain what I mean.
A man will not get to heaven if he's a homo and doesn't repent of his homosexuality.
Do you use any of the harm reduction services they offer out here?
Yeah, we use the needle exchange. Then with harm reduction, they offer like wound care.
What's going on with the wound on your leg, man?
So what it is it's a sore that's caused by an abscess.
How does that happen?
We're not really sure, to be honest. Most of us
think
it's the trank.
Look, they're doing the trank, and it's giving them these giant sores like this, guys. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts.
That does it?
The dangerous street drug component is officially called xylazine, nicknamed trank, as in tranquilizer. For people who use illicit drugs, it is an X factor, both unseen and possibly fatal.
City officials and the feds say trank is being mixed with opioids.
My name is Rosalind Pichardo, founder
Yeah,
of
could you imagine wanting to get high so bad that you did that to yourself? It's disgusting.
So what is xylazine?
So xylazine is like a
It's fucking
tranquilizer.
disgusting.
Not made for human consumption. It's made for animals.
It's not made for human consumptions, guys, because it gives you giant gaping wounds and disgusting fucking holes in your arm.
Used on
your
mice.
leg,
Is used
and
on.
every place you
It's like a
stick your needle.
sedative that's made it into the drug
Imagine
supply.
being that
It's been here
fucking
for 6
addicted.
years, but
It's sad,
we're
really.
seeing it a lot more now.
A drug commonly used to sedate horses is now being linked to overdose deaths
Really
across
sad.
the
It's
country.
a horse
Trank was detected in 34% of all overdose deaths in 2021.
It's like a vasoconstrictor. It constricts your veins, and it just makes it hard to circulate. And then next thing you know, you got infection, you have amputation, you have rotting skin.
They say that like the filler is like really acidic. It's like when you get a cut, it's like almost like the acid tries to get out of your system like through like the weak point or something in your veins, you know. So it's like these wounds, they don't heal, man. I've had this on my leg for like over a year, same size, man.
And have you attempted to get any like health care for it?
Nothing official, you know, but
Yeah.
I do take care of it. Clean gauze, soap and water, Meta Honey.
So I have a lot of wound care supplies. I had a lot of snacks, socks. It's just not enough. We may have like maybe 6,
Hey, what's
7
up,
teams
Spicy
out here from
Peach?
different hospitals, but it's just more or less the
DC
magnitude
is getting no
of
shit.
people that are
Why do
here
you think they
coming
do
from-
all the harm reduction and all the free needles and all the millions of dollars to rehabilitate these people? Because they feel guilty, right? It's just like, why do you think they do all this DEI shit? Because they feel guilty about being racist.
all over the country
right?
to consume this stuff that's not made for human consumption. I would say 70% are not from here. 70-80% are not from here.
I'm from Baltimore. I went to rehab like a month ago, and I ended up leaving with a girl that's from here, and been here ever since, and basically got stuck down here. I got a family back home in Baltimore with 3 kids, and this shit's different, like totally different. We took a trip back one time and got the dope, and it does nothing now. So basically, I'm up here because this shit is fucking different. Like,
They come here because we have that good shit, They come here because we got that good drug.
We got that good
wild,
shit in
bro.
Philly.
I've never seen something like this shit ever in my life. Like Baltimore's ran by the gangs and shit. Like, Trank ain't even hit Baltimore yet. Like, I'm telling you, when it hits Baltimore, that shit's about to be a war zone. Because
look at how
he's
got an arm like Popeye. Isn't that gross?
Anybody high?
What's going on with your
Look
right
at
arm
this
here, man?
Popeye junkie
Somebody
arm.
missed, and I ended up getting a blood infection, and I was septic. Like, last week, I was in ICU for 4
No
days.
shit, SD.
You know what
That's
might have caused
harm
it?
acceleration.
Trank and a coat.
What about you, man?
Look at this guy. He's bleeding. He's bleeding.
When I was getting hit, somebody was hitting me. They hit my voice box. Where I think.
When they shot him up in his neck, they hit his voice box, right? Right? Because that's what addiction does to you. You shoot up in your neck until you can't talk anymore.
I mean, that's what they say. but
Walk around
I'm going
bleeding.
like 3 weeks. Trank is nasty shit. It's an animal tranquilizer that was used on horses. You can look around and see and go, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh my God, dude, that is so not right. I told you guys, if you guys have a weak stomach, don't watch this, okay? It gets bad.
Ultimately, it's not that person's fault. Take the fucking Trank away. My fucking
It's
leg.
not their fault. Yes, it is.
I'm embarrassed
Right?
by it.
I've done a lot of
wash,
drugs,
clean,
but I've never shot up
put
anything.
antibiotic fucking
And if
ointment on it, wrap it
I
every
was
day.
shooting up shit,
Every time
and
I
my
can, I'm in
arm
that
started falling off, I would stop. Have you guys ever thought about just stopping, maybe?
This has been here for 5
Look at what
fucking
they're doing
months.
to my neighborhood.
The flesh-eating condition caused by Trank is
Necrotizing
referred to as
fleshitis.
necrotizing fasciitis. This condition was
Fasciitis.
mentioned briefly during my visit to a harm reduction facility in San Francisco.
Necrotizing fasciitis, which is flesh-eating disease.
But I wanted to learn more about what's actually going on beneath the skin when you see these types of lesions. So I found a dermatologist named Dr. Cartwright to help break it down.
Sure, I'm Martina Cartwright. I'm the Vice President of Medical.
She's no Cartwright, like she ain't no bitch. She's far from a Ben Cartwright. She ain't even a hop sing. Let's hear it.
Affairs for a small dermatology company. Xylazine is not an opioid. It's actually an anesthetic meant for horses and other large animals. So necrotizing fasciitis is just a name for dead tissue. It causes death of the fascia, which is right underneath the skin surface, and it can even go deeper than that. So what you're seeing, that blackened tissue, again, is dead tissue, and below that is a harbored infection.
Oh my
Now,
God.
how long after injecting Trank would it take?
Why
for
would they
this
do that to
condition
themselves?
set in?
It's hard to say, but it oftentimes only takes a few days. Treatment is very complicated. You have to get the individual into the hospital right away to receive IV antibiotics.
Hey, girl.
They also have
Girl
to
gone dog.
debride that wound, which means you take off the dead layers of skin and tissue.
Hey,
And
she's a
sometimes
pimple
that
popper.
can go as deep as the bone. If they don't get the immediate treatment, it will spread and oftentimes cause a systemic infection called sepsis. Sepsis is a systemic infection.
Yeah, you don't want
that affects,
sepsis. That means
all
you're
the
like
organs.
shit, like you're-
So it's characterized by low blood pressure, rapid heart rate, increased temperature, and high white blood cell count. And it often has a very high death rate.
What is the death rate?
It's over 50%.
Is there any type of treatment for sepsis?
Amputation is the
Yeah,
only
it does it to our
treatment.
animals,
They're not
exactly.
getting enough blood flow and nutrients
That's what they give it to, animals.
the area where the tissue has died, and it just keeps spreading. You can think of it almost like water spreading in a puddle. It goes from one small place,
All right, so now that we
and
know
then
about
it spreads
that,
throughout the limb, and if
right, let's skip it forward a little bit. Let's see some more of the horrors.
The contractor swoop in, buy that shit at the low and sell it at the top.
Yes, sir. And who gonna buy at the top? There ain't too many blacks and colors that's really spending millions and hundreds of thousands on their properties and stuff like
They think
that.
that we not stupid. I got a college degree. He got a college degree. Like, yeah. But it's the color of our skin. No disrespect. It's the color of our skin that.
They make the case that the city of Philadelphia is essentially playing inside baseball with developers and contractors by allowing K&A to flourish in its current form. That way
that they can like gentrify it and get rich off it.
Property values will dramatically decrease, allowing for a full-scale revitalization at a much lower cost. This may sound like a conspiracy theory, but consider that a year ago, Philadelphia simultaneously evacuated its two largest underground homeless encampments, forcing homeless people above ground and sending them directly to the corner of K&A.
And officials today cleared out several homeless encampments in that neighborhood. It was all part of an effort to tackle the city's growing opioid crisis.
One of these encampments was called Conrail, which ran along the train tracks in South Kensington for multiple decades.
I don't know if you're familiar with Gurney Street, Conrail. Growing up, I just remember people living
Yeah, so
where
that's what's
Conrail
going on in
lives.
Philly, guys.
It's a train track.
It's fucking gross, and I feel sorry for these people. But they did it to themselves. I feel sorry for them the same way I feel sorry for, like, I don't know, fat people that are have diabetes and shit. Like, you did it to yourself, right? I feel bad for you, right, that your life sucks, but you did it to yourself, right? Like alcoholics, right? They did it to themselves, right? Yeah, we used to hang there and pick each other's lice. Any Hasidics under? I doubt it. 40 grams, 5 years. 400 grams, 10 years. Yeah, it's fucked up, man. In Philly, that's where I didn't grow up there, but I lived there for a long time, more than 5 years. It wasn't like that. It was bad, but it wasn't as visibly bad like that. Yeah, guys, it's fucked up. It's all fucked up. I don't know. I don't know what we can do to fix it, or there's really nothing we can do, guys, honestly, because like the politicians bring the dope in, right? The CIA uses it to fund covert wars, right? The Chinese push it, the Mexicans push it, right? Like, what are we going to do? What can we do, right? Not a whole lot. I mean, as long as there's dope, there will be junkies, right? We can't get rid of the junkies with the dope there. I mean, once you open the Pandora's box, you can never turn back, right? It's not like a rehab problem. We're not going to be able to rehabilitate these people. Not as long as the dope, I mean, maybe some of them, right? But not all of them. And only a very small minority will ever be truly clean, right? They'll always go back to it as long as they can, right? That's what addiction does. All right, guys, as you know, this channel gets heavily censored, and fucking strikes, and you know, they hate me. So if you guys want to support the channel, I dropped some links in the chat for Venmo, Cash App, stuff like that. Yeah, this stuff is over the top, turning guns, right? Like, yeah. If you're going to do drugs, smoke weed, right? Weed, if you just use small amounts of weed every day, like smoke a bowl or two and that's it, it's actually, like, good for you on some levels, right? It protects against cancer. It literally fights cancer. I think if you don't overdo it, right? Or maybe that's all bullshit, I don't know, but that's what they say. I didn't believe it, but I looked it up, and there's been many studies on smoking cannabis fighting cancer. Right? Yeah. Yeah, no, you're welcome, Gino. You're welcome. Thanks for coming out and watching it. I mean, there would be no show if there was no audience. Then it would just be a crazy guy up here talking about shit no one cares about. You got ball cancer smoking weed? Is that true? Oh, yeah. You're not Randy Marsh. You're not Randy Marsh. And he had to put. No, he got ball cancer to be able to smoke weed. Yeah, gave yourself ball cancer to get legal weed. That's how that happened. Now you can just move to Ohio. Everyone should move to Ohio if they're cool. We're really fucking cool here. Your wife sews? Awesome. She sounds like a keeper. You did right by marrying that woman. Probably the best thing you ever did, bro. Good for you. I hope you guys stay married until the end. You're going to figure out how to load a sewing machine? Good luck. You got to get, like, the bobbin through the little thing. There's, like, a spindle. It's a pain in the butt. I've done it before, but I couldn't remember how to do it if you paid me. I'd have to look it up. Awesome, Eli. That's awesome. Yeah, that's your parents are stoners. That's pretty cool. Load the sewing machine. I gotcha. She's the sewing machine. You're going to load this. Make a baby and name it Space. Yeah. Load the sewing machine. I get it. I get it. Name your baby Space. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for the show. I want to thank everybody for coming out. And remember, we go live with all kinds of content or something sometimes, if my stupid buttons work. Yeah, and if everybody make sure you're still subscribed and that you have your all notifications turned on, because like my friends were subscribed to the channel and then they were unsubscribed and I had to resubscribe them and turn the notifications on because we couldn't even find my video. All right, guys, thanks for coming out. Oh, wait. We're going to play a song. We'll play this song. I don't know what song it is.
Oh, this one's weird. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. We should have the press secretary tomorrow. No, not the Eagles.